12 months ago, I quit my job with no backup plan, no plan B, no cushy job to go to. Because quite simply, I was scared that in 30 years' time, I was going to wake up and regret not taking the risk when I did. Today, I'm going to be taking you through what my life looks like now as a self-employed man trying to grow my own business versus what it did look like as an employee of a tech company in the big bad corporate world. So let's get into it. Here's something that they don't tell you. Self-employment will kill you if you don't take care of yourself. That's right. And most important change in all of this is your health and your fitness. Now, I say change, it's not really a change, but it's something to be aware of and arguably the most important on this whole list. I'm a man of health and fitness.
That's so hard.
I absolutely love it. It is a huge part of my life and hopefully always will be. Even myself, even I have found times in the last 12 months where I don't want to say I've gone off the radar, gone off the boil, but I definitely haven't been as fit or as healthy as I have been in previous times in my life. What I mean by this is that there are times when you are self-employed where your priorities do shift. It's the first time in my life post being a pro rugby player where I'm genuinely more excited about other things than running and gymming and training towards a physical activity, a physical objective. I'm now incredibly excited and pumped about working towards a business objective, a content objective. Well, to be fair, this doesn't change whether you're self-employed or working at a company as an employee. Health should be the priority, and it will always be the priority for me, that and family. As I get a football kicked into me, the morning routine doesn't change.
Mornings don't discriminate. Whether you're growing your own business, unemployed, employed, the early mornings are still the go-to. Got to get that training in.
Just because you're self-employed, it doesn't mean you're still not getting up at 5:30 to go to the gym in the morning before you crack on with your full day. Doesn't mean you're not coming down to your favorite place in the evenings to get your steps in and to finish your steps so you hit your targets there. Get some fresh air. But health and fitness, very important. Okay, so one of the biggest changes when it comes to being an employee versus being self-employed is, of course, the structure. Now, this is one of the things that hits you in the face from day one. When I was working a regular job, you have set working hours, obviously. I was starting at 9:30, finishing at 6:30 were my contractual hours. However, in reality, these would go on a lot longer. That's also to do with the Hong Kong work culture, but I've done more of that in another video, which you can check out. The point is that you had set working hours and that you could switch off outside of those. Another thing, which I think is one of the best things about working at a company, is you have annual leave. You have set annual leave every year. Now, some people see that as a negative, thinking, oh, I only get X number of days holiday. And in Hong Kong, it's actually 12 days is the minimum required amount of annual leave days, which is particularly low. Now, a lot of people think that's not good. You're not allowed to take maximum number of holidays every year. You can't take time off when you want. However, having now been self-employed for a year, this is one of the things that I miss, is actually going on holiday and knowing that you're getting paid whilst you're away. And that's one of the things that I think is very undervalued when you're actually working at a company that isn't yours and you are an employee. Is being paid to be on holiday is pretty cool. I want to put this one in the structure as well, is work scope. And what I mean by that is that you normally have your job scope in the contract, what you're responsible for, one small part of the big machine that is the business. Whether that's your marketing or partnerships or tech, you are responsible for your piece, and anything outside of your piece, normally you ask another team to help you on, or it gets allocated to another team, someone who's specialized and has the expertise in that particular field. Now, this is where the big changes happen with being self-employed. Let me speak from my own experience here, right? It's 24/7. My brain is constantly thinking about my work, my business, what I'm doing next. There are no set working hours. There's no set structure to each day. And that's coming from someone who loves routine. Now, on the annual leave front, you can supposedly just go on holiday whenever you want. but it's a very different type of holiday. From my experience, anytime I've gone on holiday, I've been thinking about work. The laptop always comes with me. The recording equipment always comes with me. So really, you can go on holiday, but you end up just working from abroad. And when it comes to scope, when it's your own business, especially when you're first starting off, which I am in the first 12 months, your scope is everything, like literally everything. You're your own tech team, you are your business development team, you're your social media manager, you're your product developer, you are the CEO, COO, CFO. There is not anything that you can't do that is not in your scope. Everything is in your scope, and that obviously has a lot of positives and a lot of negatives. Positives is you learn lots, like even now, for example, let me see if I can show you. I'm rebuilding my website. So I'm rebuilding my website. This isn't live yet, but it looks basic, right? Looks super basic. But this has taken me days. That has taken me absolute days to build, which is not something to write home about and brag about, but it has. All right, so the next big one that everyone loves talking about is, of course, money. Cha-ching, the dough, the green stuff. I think this one's quite obvious, but I'm going to go through it anyway, and I'm going to share some of my experiences with the financial side of things since quitting my job and starting my own company and trying to do things my way. When you work at a company and you're an employee, you gain a salary. That's what you do it for. Every month you get paid, every month, every week, every 2 weeks, depending on where you live. When I was in New Zealand for a year, actually we get paid every week, I'm pretty sure. So here in Hong Kong, it's every month. So you get a nice little salary every month, depending on what job you did. My previous job, I was paid a pretty good salary. It was in a tech company. So I was very happy with that, and lived very comfortably here in Hong Kong, which is one of the most expensive cities in the world. Often with a lot of jobs, you also get a bonus. So an annual bonus calculated off of company performance, personal performance, and then often they're times by a little multiplier, which then gives you your annual bonus. Some companies do it so it just pays you the equivalent of another month's salary. So essentially you get paid 13 months salary within a 12-month period. And that bonus is sometimes very, very nice, and that can often pay your tax bill here in Hong Kong, and etc., etc. Some companies don't offer that. Some companies don't offer a bonus structure. If you're a startup or a scale-up, sometimes they'll offer shares and get you incentivized that way to keep working and go above and beyond in the corporate world. Now that's the corporate side of things. That's when you're working at another company, at someone else's business, and that's how you get paid. Now, when you are self-employed and you work for yourself, this completely changes, and no matter what everyone tells you, no matter how much you think you're ready for it, it hits you like a fucking brick in the face sometimes. You don't get a salary. To this day, I still don't pay myself a salary. And again, disclaimer, I'm going to be talking about my experience here in the first 12 months of being self-employed. I can't speak for anyone else, any other entrepreneur or content creator doing their thing. But for me, it changes every single month. It's getting more stable now, but especially those first 6-9 months, it really is, you're jumping month to month. It fluctuates like that. Some months great, some months not so great. The thing about working for yourself and being self-employed is that there is also no ceiling on how much you can earn. You're not going to get a salary, but you also might get more than your salary because it might be a good month. You might get more deals. Your business might be going well. You also might get less than your salary that you were earning at your previous tech company. A bit cold here in Hong Kong today. So one thing about the corporate option and when you're an employee, when you're working for someone else, it's very safe. It's very secure. And you can also predict and project your cash flow of what you're going to be earning in 6, 12, 24 months time. So you can make your investments, you can save for stuff, you can save for holidays, you can plan your spending, all that sort of stuff, do your budgeting. But when you're working for yourself, that stuff becomes a lot more difficult. Now, I want to preface this by saying I did quit my job without any plan B. In an ideal world, maybe I would have stayed at a paying job, earning a salary for 6 more months so that I can build up my business in my own time. And my situation at the time did not allow that. One thing I forgot to mention there, and it would be a massive injustice to her and also all of you watching if I didn't mention this, is that it is so important financially
well, not just financially, everything, but we're talking financials here, to have the support of people around you who understand what you're going through, the risks you're taking when you quit your job and you decide to launch your own business, because it is a massive risk, and that is the common theme throughout this video. There are safer options out there. The lifestyle changes, there are lots of positives, but it is a huge risk. So it would be remiss of me to not mention my wife in all of this, because without her, this decision, I'm not saying I wouldn't have taken it, I'd probably still be doing what I'm doing, but it would be a lot harder. It was a joint decision that we made together, and it was very important that we made that decision together, because the lifestyle changes that have happened also affect her massively. And if you're thinking of doing the same, it will also affect your loved ones around you massively as well, whether you're married, friends, family, it doesn't matter. They're going to affect everyone around you that you love and care about. And financially, it makes a huge difference to me that she was able to support me, especially in those first kind of 6-month period of quitting my previous job. The mental turmoil that can happen when you are worried about money and paying rent and bills and things like that. If you are by yourself and you don't have money in the bank and savings, that can really play on you. And actually that will probably affect your performance of your company that you're trying to launch and be a success, because your focus is going elsewhere. So I didn't want to go any further in the video without mentioning that, because I don't want to pretend like I'm here now 12 months later and I've done this all by myself, because that's just not the case at all. Now, another big change is the mindset shift. Now, this is one that I would argue has taken longer to learn from myself. But what I mean when I say mindset shift is that, for me anyway, when I was working as a professional rugby player, there was no work-life balance. My life revolved around me being a professional rugby player and a professional athlete. My training was all day, every day. My recovery was when I wasn't training. Every time I ate, it was focused on my performance. Everything I drank was focused on my performance. You can see what I'm getting at here, right? It's everything is all-encompassing when you're an elite athlete. Then I made the transition to the corporate world and worked in tech jobs, in startups, etc., etc. It was, okay, you start at 9, finish at 6. As I said, often a lot later than that, but the concept of work-life balance started to come into my life at that point, because, well, I didn't want my whole life to be revolved around working in an office, at a bank, at a tech company, at a startup that wasn't mine. You know, I didn't care enough about it. I wanted work-life balance. I wanted to earn the salary so that I could enjoy my life outside of the office. And that's what most people do, and rightly so. It's all about work-life balance if you're working for someone else. You want to earn as much money as you possibly can to enjoy your life as much as you possibly can outside of your working hours. Only in the last 12 months, really, since quitting my job and doing this myself and building my own business, have I noticed that shift in mindset and commitment levels. I don't really have a concept of work-life balance. Now, a lot of people will watch this and see that as a negative, a massive negative. Oh my goodness, no work-life balance, what a saddo, that's so sad, what a poor existence. Okay, fine. I understand that argument. I understand that opinion at least. But also, my clap back to that is that, well, my thinking is that I'd rather create a lifestyle. I don't want there to be a divide in between. I want to enjoy my work, because if I'm spending the majority of my hours every day working on something, I want to be loving that thing. But the biggest difference by far of everything we've discussed in this video is the actual type of work I'm doing now. Now, as you can see, I'm in a stadium. I'm at the National Games here in China, and I'm covering it for the radio. This is my office for the day. Now, this isn't every day, but this has been me for the last 2 weeks. Now, this is just an example of me doing something that I actually wanted to do in my life. 12 months ago, in the last 4 or 5 years, I've been doing stuff really just to fill a void, to pick up a paycheck, to get a salary every month, and also to test things out. Like, there's no way that I would have known after professional sport, after professional rugby, that this is what I wanted to do. I needed to work in an office, I needed to work in startups, I needed to work in tech, and do all the things that I've done up to this point to know that this is what I want to be doing now. But because I've done that, I know what I don't want to do. And what I don't want to be doing is what I was doing a year ago. And that's sitting in an office, not fulfilling my full potential, and not in an industry or doing anything that I particularly wanted to do or was passionate about. It really felt like work. And that's a feeling that I really wanted to get out of. And so fast forward to today, everything that I'm doing now is stuff that I want to do. And that's the biggest change. Whether you're earning less money, more money, the biggest thing is actually doing what you want to do. And whether that's building products, building businesses, volunteering. If you're doing what you want to do, for me, that's the most important thing. I'm very happy that I took that risk 12 months ago to get on this path, because if I didn't, I would have just been 12 months later and 12 months more delayed. Whereas now I'm coaching, I'm making content, I'm hosting radio shows, I'm traveling around the world, hosting events, emceeing, I'm doing YouTube videos. On a Tuesday afternoon, watching some fencing. And that's work. And I'm happy about that. Okay, so what is the verdict? What is the verdict and the lessons from this video? Which one's better, being self-employed or being an employee? I don't know. There is no right answer. It all depends on you, your personal circumstances, and your appetite for this kind of lifestyle. The employee life is predictable, it's stable, but it's also secure. And so many people choose that option for that very reason. You know how much money you're earning. It's a very predictable climb up the career ladder. And it's nice. You have the work-life balance, you have your hobbies, you have your family life, you have your free time. But that self-employed life, you have your freedom. You have more responsibility, good and bad, but you also have infinite possibilities. The world is truly your oyster. 12 months ago, I quit my job to find my path, to start my journey. And if I could go back and change anything, I wouldn't. It's been bloody difficult. It's been really, really hard at times, but I wouldn't change a thing. I'm so happy to be here where I am today, talking to you, making this video, sharing my lessons. But ultimately, I am so happy that I took the risk. You'll never feel ready. The fear will never go. It will never subside. But if you are willing to embrace the risk, your life could change more than you could possibly imagine. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Don't forget to give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more of these videos, let me know down below. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.